Welcome. We have a very special guest today, Miss Hester Prynne. Hester has had quite the remarkable life. Going from alienated to adored, she's been through it all. Hester's lovely daughter Pearl now lives in Europe with her husband, and Hester lives alone in her home in New England. So Hester, how did you feel the first time you stood on the scaffold and had to reveal the Scarlet Letter to your neighbors?
Well, as I was standing there, I began to reminisce passages of infancy and school days, sports and childish quarrels and traits of my maiden years. I realized how judgmental the town was, but the words never truly affected me, only the recognition of my own sin. Yet the thought still swarmed me. Possibly it was an instinctive device of my spirit to relieve itself from the cruel weight and the hardness of reality. This became my life now, and I had to live with being an object of public scorn.
Even with people saying things like good wives, I'll tell you a piece of my mind. It would be greatly for the public behoof if we women, being of mature age and church members in good repute, should have the handling of such malefactousness as Hester Prynne. What think you, gossips? It seems like such gossip could really get to a person.
No, it never really got to me. I know that I had sinned, but I also knew that I was a good person at heart. But it did hurt to see how the other children would interact with Pearl. They ended up throwing mud at her and calling her a witch. I knew that some of their ridicule really did affect who she became. I don't think that Pearl was actually a child of a black man, but rather the opposite. She was the child of God. She may have always been trying to get to reveal Chillingworth's and Dimmesdale's identity, but maybe that's what we truly needed in the end.
How did Pearl act on Dimmesdale before she knew who he was?
She seemed to take a liking to him. I can recall this time that we went to the mayor's house regarding my custody of her. I noticed she stole softly towards him and took his hands in the grasp of her own, laid her cheek against it, and I asked myself, is this my Pearl? She always seemed to know a little bit more than everyone else, and had tendencies that we couldn't explain.
So tell me more about Pearl. How did her actions affect your views on the Scarlet Letter and on life?
Well, Pearl knew that I was hated, but she never associated the hatred with the A. She figured that the A meant something else, or that maybe the A had to do with my sadness. I recall her once saying to me, "Mother, the sunshine does not love you. It runs away and hides itself because it is afraid of something on your bosom. It will not flee from me, though, for I wear nothing on my bosom yet." I hoped she would never have to experience a similar fate, but Pearl seemed to think the Scarlet Letter was simply a part of growing up. The A for me, though, stood for more than a constant reminder of my sin, which pushed me to become a more charitable person in an attempt to repent. However, it had also been holding me down. Even though I didn't completely realize it, I had a grim outlook on life, and when I finally decided to take the A for a moment, I had realized that I had not known the weight of it until I felt freedom. But even then, I realized that it had become such a part of me that Pearl didn't even know who I was, and I needed to put it back on at once.
I know this is a bit of a sore subject, but can you tell me a bit about your previous relationship with Chillingsworth?
When Chillingworth found out that I had cheated on him, he was extremely upset. But he forgave me quickly, for he knew that I was forced into marriage with him, in hopes that someday my feelings would change for him and we could truly fall in love. Maybe he thought that Dimmesdale took away our chances of ever falling in love. But I don't understand how he became so evil, but this could be why he began to focus all of his energy on revenge. Chillingworth really did turn into the black man, and I was horrified that I had ever been married to a man like him. I knew that his constant presence really pushed Dismal over the edge. I truly believe that he'd still be alive right now if his guilt hadn't taken over.
So you think that Chillingsworth's death had something to do with Dimmesdale's?
I definitely do. Chillingworth spent the end of his years focusing on Dimmesdale, living with him and pushing him and punishing him for what he did. It's as if his only purpose in life was to make another man feel bad. He died when he had nothing else to live for, no love and no guilt. It's hard for me to feel sympathy, though, for him because he was evil through and through.
So now at the end of your life, how do you feel about everything?
Now I'm finally content. I've moved back to my home, and Pearl has a good life and family, and I'm no longer scorned. People even respect me, and the A has no negative meaning. But to me, it has a strong meaning, and I choose not to take it off. It's become a part of who I am. And maybe it represented adultery, but now it only represents acceptance.
Thank you for your time, Miss Prynne. I wish you the best.
Thank you.